And that's the reality.
Because they're sharks. The banks, in their own documents, want vertical integration. As Maurice Strong said, they want to wreck the economy so we all go on collectivist welfare so they can call the shots on everything.
Exactly. They're power freaks, and that's how they get their jollies, and that's it. It's the only trick they know. They're collectivists. They believe in that ideology of collectivism with all-powerful government at the top and people serving the state at the bottom. And that's just fine with them because they know that they're in the structure either at the top or far enough toward the top to have a very comfortable life while the rest of us are servants. So it's as simple as that. And the trouble is with most Americans, they can't imagine that there are people out there with that kind of a vision because it's not their vision. They think there is no one that actually wants to rule the world, but they're so wrong.
History shows that elites always want to rule the world. They always dominate. They always enslave. But somehow this psychological idea got implanted that corruption doesn't exist in government. G. Edward Griffin is our guest. Short segment, long segment coming up. We're going to break down what's happening currently. But G. Edward, in this brief 5-minute segment, can you give people an overview of, say, Norman Dodd and the Reese Committee, the Church Committee, Carroll Quigley, the documents from the elite, similar to more modern ones like Eco-Science, written by the White House Science Czar, where they admit planetary government. And then now Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General, 2 weeks ago, editorial in the New York Times titled, "We Can Do It," saying global government is here and it's going to be funded by carbon taxes. We'll talk about that coming up. But a few founding documents for people that want to do research.
Yeah, I think that's important to get as close to the roots of this as possible. Of course, you can go back practically to Adam and Eve if you want to, but you don't need to go that far. One of the most eye-opening documents that I discovered early in my research, Alex, was the testimony of a fellow by the name of Norman Dodd. Norman Dodd, this was in the 1940s, right after the end of World War II. There was a lot of concern among a lot of Americans, and particularly some newspaper editors. The Hearst newspaper chain in particular was very concerned in writing editorials about the tax-exempt foundations in America, obviously promoting what was in those days blatant communist propaganda. I found that hard to believe when I read those editorials, but I went to the documents themselves from the tax-exempt foundations, and lo and behold, they were right. They were publishing essays written by, guess who? Joseph Stalin, praising the glories of communism and socialism and how the end of capitalism was the only way for the world to go and so forth. This was stuff being distributed by some of the largest, most prestigious American tax-exempt foundations. And it was just amazing because it was hard for me to believe that would happen, but there it was in the historical record. And so the Hearst papers and others, a lot of newspapers around the country, were writing editorials exposing this. And, of course, that triggered a lot of alarm on the part of the American people, and they wanted their government. People in those days, like today, still thought that their government, represented them, and so they wanted their government to investigate this, not realizing that already, even in those days, our own government was being heavily influenced by tax-exempt foundations and the financial interests that supported them. But anyway, the idea was that they wanted an investigation of these tax-exempt foundations to see if they were, in fact, un-American, is the word they used, that they were advocating systems that required the destruction of the American way of life and using a process that was not constitutional. I mean, the American system is designed to be changed if necessary, and if it's the will of the people, but there's a constitutional path for that change. And so they were concerned about groups such as the Communist Party in those days pursuing an unconstitutional path through a violent revolution and that sort of thing. So there was a committee established in Congress headed by Congressman Carroll Reese. And I've forgotten the exact title of the committee. It's a long title, but they just referred to it as the Reese Committee, and its purpose was to investigate tax-exempt foundations. Well, that's just background. They hired a fellow by the name of Norman Dodd to be their chief investigator. And Norman Dodd was he came from banking circles, actually. Excuse me. He had worked for some of the largest banks of New York. He knew how the power structure worked and all of that, and he was not very happy with it, as a matter of fact. He had left banking, and, well, we won't go through his career, but eventually they did select him to be the chief investigator. So now we finally get to the Norman Dodd testimony, which I ran across, I guess in the middle 1960s, when I was researching a lot of the government documents put out by the House Committee on Un-American Activities and the Senate Internal Security Subcommittee. And one of those obscure documents, and believe me, I had stacks of these things that probably, if they were all put on top of each other, would probably go 8 feet to the ceiling of the house here. And one of those obscure documents, I ran across the testimony of Norman Dodd, and it almost knocked my socks off. He was basically saying that when he investigated these tax-exempt foundations, he found out that there was nestled inside of them literally a cabal of people, very powerful, wealthy people, who were trying to destroy America.
Stay there. We'll be right back.